Okay, where were we? So. Okay, so. Okay, so. Where was I? Where he's like, oh yeah, we're real helpful and blah, blah, blah. And, oh yeah, and then another big guy came out and slammed the door. And right before I was leaving, he said, he said, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. And I said, or what? Again, the same thing. It sounds like all 6 stores text each other. Because this is their parting words. Which doesn't hold any weight or water, as they say. Because I can still go back in. But you guys always call corporate. If they threaten to call the police, just leave. Because they can lie. So I was told just leave. You don't stay. But you can go back in later. You're not banned and stuff, but for the time being, just leave. But you can always go back, but call corporate first, because they were shocked the fuck out of. And the same thing with AT&T. They did this at like 3 or 4 different stores. That'll probably be the next batch of stories I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you about the worst ones. I would say summer heating and cooling, where they had the neighbor across, the killer dog, sicker couple neighbor. They had him there. He wasn't even working. I don't know if he knew them. I don't think they have much connections. I don't know. White trash, they side with each other. But every time I opened my door, he would, a tech from summer cooling and heating, he'd be staring at me. And then when I went up to go to bed, I looked outside, and she was hiding in the garage. He was talking to her, and he quickly zoomed out of here, backed out of his car when I left, or when I went upstairs to go to bed. But every time I opened my door, because they were hacked on my whole system, they knew that I think some guy from NIPSCO was coming out, and I canceled it, and he came out anyway. I don't know if that was on purpose or what. But every time I opened my door, and then I expected a UPS to pick up a package at my house. I had to open the door, I think, 2 or 3 times that day. And the hackers and Home Depot, Walmart knew it. And they knew who I contacted. So then they told the neighbor to have the summer cooling and heating tech there. And he wasn't even doing anything. And every time I opened the door, he'd be staring at me on their property, And then, yeah, he quickly left, like a couple hours later, when I went upstairs. And I was looking out the window. And that neighbor was hiding, hoping that, like what I'm doing now, I wouldn't tell you. But anyway, that happened. And Corte was horrible once. Where the girl, Amanda, she lied and said they had no openings, and she was laughing. And it said same-day delivery, same-day service. And then summer cooling and heating, I had them come to my house once to do a repair. And they wouldn't come till 6:30 at night. They were being told to stall. And it was some girl named India, He was saying we'll be there at 3, and they ended up coming at 6:30. And and they charged me anyway. The guy came at 6:30 at night. I remember it was on my birthday. Oh, and Papa John's is another big one where they took 3 hours. They said I'd have to wait 3 hours for my pizza, and end up taking 12 hours. And they were bringing me shitty pizzas and stuff, and that's a whole other story. That was like 3 or 4 times with Papa. So those are one of the worst ones. Papa John's, AT&T, Corte. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So anyway, I was about to leave, and he goes, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And I said, or what? And he goes, I'm going to have to call the police. It was the same guy who's holding my phone, like a few days earlier when I went there. I think the first day I went in, who installed the malware. The malware employee, the malware installer, T-Mobile employee, we both looked at each other, and he looked scary. His eyes were big. And like, he gave me a look like, I'm guilty, what I did. Like, I'm the guy who installed the malware on your phone. And he goes, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I said, or what? He goes, I'm going to have to call the police. I said, well, I'm going to call the CIA. And then that's when the manager, Nick, when I was walking away, before I left, I said, well, it took you 5. I go, well, it took 5 hours. But I made you give me the phone anyway. I go, I told you so. I didn't want to resist. I could. It's not like I couldn't resist. I didn't want to. I wouldn't. But I could have. I just didn't want to. Anyway, after I said that, he goes, you're banned. I go, you can't ban me. They said you can. He goes, I just did. I go, nope, I'm not banned. I can still come back. He goes, no, you're banned. I go, nope, I'm not. And then they had stalkers pretending to walk in, and they were smiling. And I think they have, like, I don't see how. Again, these are really poor hillbillies, scum, redneck, trailer park, criminals, people came out of prison trying to make deals. I don't know if you have to be rich. I don't think you have to be rich to have wireless microphones, but they act like they can hear what we're saying from like the parking lot, I don't know, 100 feet away. Or maybe I've heard that there are like phone, like live listen or wireless microphones where people can hear conversations from 200-300 feet away. I believe that, but I don't see how they cut through all the other chatter, like from like wind, outdoor noises. I don't know. But I know they do exist, and you don't have to be rich to have those microphones. But anyway, so that's what happened there, and yeah, threatening to call the police, and so it took me, I think, 3 visits at that place, and so it looked new. The plastic was new. I checked and stuff. Oh, and they wanted to activate the phone. They were arguing. I said, no, I'll do it. And he said, no, we have to do it in the store. I go, no, you don't. I go, no, I'll do it. And he gave me a new SIM card too, because he had to. First he's questioning it. I was like, no, I want a new one. I said, I want it. He was like, okay, yeah. And so that's what happened with that one, where racist remark, delayed waits, which is better because, woo, cameras are watching, and so there's evidence. And even if there are no cameras, you guys, other stalking victims, I want to say, don't worry, because they have check-in and check-out times, whether it's a login from like a doctor's office or even a customer service place. Keep that receipt, because the receipt shows what time they rung you up and what time you left. So, like I said, cameras, most of them work, but if it happens they aren't in there, which shouldn't happen, remember, the receipt is the proof, and it shows your long wait times and stuff. And then they'll question the employees, corporate, why were they here so long? And then always, always, please remember to tell corporate when this happens to you, look back, look at their customer service, look at their transactions, look at their login, their patient schedule a week back, 2 weeks back, a year back, 6 months back. It won't be the same. This only happens when you come, and that's your defense. So now there's no way they can blackmail you, because you have now you have an angle where you can work right through it, and we have ways where you can work around it, so where it can be found out later. And keep repeating it. Don't change anything about your behavior. You show them that you make you. You show them that you won't be bullied and you will never ever change. You show them there's nothing bad they can do to make you change. That's what you show them. Because that's what I set out to do 6-7 years ago when they started. I was like, you know what? They don't know it yet, but not only am I not going to change, but I'm going to make everything worse, more chaotic. And I'm real proud of myself. I'm real proud of myself. I set out to do it, and I have, showing them that, hey, things got worse for you. Now they will wish they never would have messed with you. And by then, of course it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. Not that it ever did, but, it's like, see, they thought they could bully us, they think they can bully you, and you'll show them, no, you won't be blackmailed. There's nothing they can do, and they're not getting anything in return. Nothing will ever change. Let them know that, and they'll know it, and they already, not probably, scratch that, duh. They already know that nothing will ever change, And they're left stupefied. Now you're they thought, they can delay your service, out in public places when you go. Now they see you have a way of working around it. My mother, other people have told me that, yeah, they probably thought you'd no. I'm like, nope. We're going to keep complaining. Then that leaves them stupefied. And then we're like, okay, what do we do? We're not getting, she found a way to work through it. This was supposed to force her to stop and move away or commit suicide or drown or do something. And now she's finding a way to work through it. Now we look stupid. Now we're following her really for no reason. First we thought we could get her. Now we can't. So, and that's what they're